Hello, I am Deborah Valerie with 60 Plus Black Women Expats Group, and the YouTube channel is called Passport Ability, where you learn how to flex your passport muscle, that U.S. passport. And today, our guest is Jay Brown. Say hi, Jay.
Hey, everybody. Hey, 60 plus. We all 60 plus up in here.
I have been after this woman for so long because she has been to like 23 plus countries in 7 years. And everybody, I know I want that lifestyle. And I just want to ask her so many questions. And I know you have questions for her too. We already have 3 people on. Yay. Remember, on live stream, you have to give StreamYard permission to post your name. Otherwise, we just see your comment, but we don't see who's making that comment and won't be able to greet you. But we will go ahead and answer those questions. And so for those on YouTube who are not familiar with 60 Plus Black Women Expat Group, it's a group comprised of us mature Black women who've discovered that the world is ours. Nothing holding us back from realizing our dreams of traveling abroad and perhaps finding a place to live and become an expat, which is just an abbreviation for expatriate. And that's just a person who's living in a country outside their native citizenship country. So for us US citizens, it's living anywhere in the world where we have like a residence and we're staying for a while. So I've been watching and tracking data for a few months now, and she's so busy because she does public speaking and volunteering and all that while seeing the world. So I'm going to shut up now and go ahead and put your questions in, and then every now and then I'll jump in. I think she can also see it. It'll be on the comments, Jay, and I call her Jada all the time, but that's not her name. It's Jay or JD. Which one you prefer?
Jay.
Just Jay? Okay. Well, take it away, Jay. And I'm just going to sit and listen.
I don't see any questions, though.
Okay. Well, they're just coming in now. So I want to ask you, how did you, what age were you when, if you don't mind sharing, when you decided to take that first trip abroad, or when you got the mindset that you wanted to do something like that? Or did it just organically happen that you finally went abroad and then went further, or was it a plan?
I've had that wanderlust in me since I was a child. And when I was maybe 9 years old, I walked into the living room with my hands on, in the kitchen. I was always walking in the kitchen making announcements. And I said, you know what, Mom and Daddy? I said, when I grow up, I'm getting me an American Express card and I'm going to Kuala Lumpur. Now, I didn't know where Kuala Lumpur was, but the man on the television said if you had an American Express card, you could go to Kuala Lumpur.
That's right. That's right.
Started. I just was always intrigued with exotic places. My first trip outside of the country was one of, when you're young, you have all those little bus trips to Mexico. But my first real trip was to Canada. I flew to Canada. My first real trip further afar was to Paris. And I have had a love affair with Paris ever since then. Back in the day, they had those big banners that would go across your screen and selling things. And they say Paris for the same price of the States or something like that. And I said,
Yeah.
A half hour later, I bought a plane ticket to Paris.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, Paris was my first one. I did Paris is the first one because I didn't have a passport. I'm like, I gotta get a passport. I bought a ticket out here.
Yeah, because people don't realize at one point you could travel without a passport. That was way back in the day, especially like to Mexico and Canada. You didn't even need a passport. When now you need a passport to go anywhere outside the border. So yeah, when you say that, that first time you needed a passport was to go to Paris. People need to know that, those stipulations came in time.
You need a passport, ladies.
Yes, you do. Yeah, it's just power. Even if you never use it, you want the power and the option to go somewhere else if you have to. If you decide
Exactly.
that where you are is not where you want to be, then
Hmm.
you don't, that's not the time to get the passport. So you just get it and put it in your safe deposit box or wherever you put your hands on it.
Hmm.
Don't you agree?
Oh, I agree. I agree 100%. Well, my this lifestyle that I've adopted, it basically started um, in a bar. You know, all good ideas happen in a bar, right? In a bar on a Friday with my teacher friends, with my friends, and of course, as you get older, your conversation turns to retirement. And
Yep.
I remember vividly, as if it were yesterday, I remember saying, you know what? When I retire that first year, I just want a whole year of no responsibility. That's all I want. A year of I don't want to be responsible for anything. Now, at that time, I was maybe 10 years out, but I had that in my head that because you know when you're married, for you ladies who married out there and you got a honey-do list. Well, I
Oh.
am honey-do. I don't, I'm single. I don't have a honey-do list. I am honey-do. And I love my single life. I love being single, but you do have to do everything on your own. And I said, I just want a year of no responsibility. And through the years, as it manifested, it turned it into, well, I'll do a round the world trip. And that year turned into 2 years, turned into 5 years. I'm currently on my 7th year of no responsibility. And
Okay.
it is addictive. I can honestly say, I love my life. I'm in love with my life.
Oh wow.
So
Oh
yeah.
wow. That's great. I want to
You
ask
know
a
what?
question. Can everybody hear her?
I'm in love.
Can everybody hear her? I think so. Okay. Because at one point I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I could hear you, but you were a little low, and I want to turn off the mic on my computer because I don't want any feedback.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. I don't.
Okay, some
I
of the
still.
comments are like absolutely true. Yes. How did you get to Germany? Well, she's in Germany now. Let's just take it along. Okay, so Canada, Paris, and where did you go from there? And where you retired? What's your next trip? Because you went to Paris. You weren't retired then, right?
Oh, I was about 20, 22 when
Yeah.
I went to Paris. Yeah, that was
Okay. Yeah.
many. That was my
Okay.
first real trip abroad. I
Yeah.
don't count Mexico because Mexico is like our next door neighbor. I don't count Canada because Canada is our next door neighbor.
That's
So
right.
Paris was my first real
Wow.
trip. Yeah.
Wow. So the first one was, yeah, Paris is so beautiful. There's not enough I could say about Paris. So what was the span of time between the next trip abroad?
From
After,
Paris to the next trip.
uh-huh.
Oh, after that, I went to Paris every summer for maybe 6 or 7 years. Every summer or every spring break, I was in Paris. I
Okay.
couldn't get enough of it. And then I got a job and I moved to Japan. And so when I was in Japan, and so that's how this is, I would move to Japan. I was in Japan for 3 years, Germany for 8 years, and Italy for 5. So when I say I've been to 74 countries, it sounds like a lot, but it's not because it's like your neighbors. It's like you're in Texas, you say, "Oh, I'm going to Louisiana for the weekend. I'm going to Arkansas." Where I am, we say, "Oh, where are you going for the weekend? We're going to Croatia. Where are you going? We're going to Paris. Where are you
Yeah.
guys going? We're going to Budapest." So
Yeah.
it's just like living in the States because each country is so close. So it sounds like a lot, but it's like right in my next door. So 74 is not a lot because I was traveling in my area.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because people think of abroad as way over there. And I tell them, because I'm in Puerto Vallarta right now, and I was like, guys, I'd be further away if I was in California. Okay, from Dallas. I'm like, that's just it. And they're like, Oh, I said, yeah, I'm actually closer home being in Puerto Vallarta than in
Mhm.
California because it's only a 2.5 hour flight from Dallas to here. And so, but they don't. So if they thought of each state in the U.S. as a country, that would be a better concept of how we go from country to country to country. Because when I was in Paris, then we went to Germany, and then we went to Amsterdam, and just did the whole thing.
All in your back door, all a train ride away sometimes, or
Yes, yes.
a short plane ride away. So I do love Europe for sure. So when I finally start my last day of work, I walked away from that job and I did not look back. You know how Harriet Tubman told the slaves, "You run and don't you look back." That's how I was. I was like a runaway slave.
Like the Get Out movie.
I left my job, ran straight to the airport, and flew to Slovenia. So Slovenia was the first country on this journey because it was close, and I had to fly back to Italy. I retired out of Italy, so I had to fly back to Italy. So I said, I'm going to go to Slovenia just to de-escalate, to think about my life, to understand that I no longer needed to work. And I left my job at 56. So I've been retired. I'm 62 or 63 now. I don't know. I must be 60.
Yay.
So yeah. So I left at 56, and it really is something that you have to let sink in, that I literally don't have to go to work tomorrow. I don't have to do anything anybody tells me to do. And I love that. I love that. And what Oprah says, one of the greatest luxuries is to be able to wake up every morning when your body wants to wake up.
Oh
Not
my gosh.
not when the alarm clock wakes you up, not when you know you got to get up, because when your body tells you, and that's how I do. I haven't had an alarm clock since I retired. That's 7 years now. I don't do alarm clocks unless I'm catching a plane. And that's it.
Okay, yeah.
That's it. And so I started planning this trip. I started planning, and I had, I said, initially my journey, my vision was 12 months, 12 countries. Every month I would go to a different country. And then after that year, I'll be finished. But maybe 6 months in, I realized you're no longer 25. You can't be hopping from, because people think a month is a long time to be in a country. You're
It's
just
not.
getting your feet wet. You
Yeah.
by 30 days, you're just getting your feet wet. And so I started staying in each country 1, 2, or 3 months, depending on when I got there. And then I changed everything around because I had everything planned for those first 6 months. After that, I started just buying a one-way ticket. And that's what I tell people. I buy a one-way ticket and I let serendipity have its way with my life. I figure if I like it, I'll stay. If I don't, I'll go. But every ticket I buy is a one-way ticket.
Wow. And
And
that's so true. I've been here 2 weeks. Well, let's see, I got here on 27 for like 10 days. And the first week, you think you're just a tourist, you just
Mhm.
want to do the tourist thing, or you're just um, calming down from all the noise that
Yes,
from the US, from
yes.
the news and the thickness in the atmosphere where you just feel like you're on a rat race. Even though you're retired in the US, I still felt like I was on a rat race, that there was things I had to get done, and all of this. And when I got here, it just took a while for me. And I purposely didn't plan anything for the first few days. It's like, no tours, no anything. I just want to absorb the culture and the climate and the food and just relax.
Hmm. Exactly. And that's the best way to do it. When I first land in the country, especially if it's a country I haven't been to, when I do start back traveling, I'm going to start going, because I did a lot of repeat countries. So in those 7 years, I did 28 countries. But some of those countries were countries I had been to before, because I said while I was working, I'm saying I'm going to go back to that country when I retire. So some of those countries were in the 20. I did 28 countries, but I'd been to some of those countries before.
Okay.
And so that was just too much for me, the moving from country to country at such a short notice. And so I started falling in love. I fell in love with San Miguel de Allende. It is, I haven't been to any other cities. I've been to Querétaro. I've been to a couple of other cities, but nothing more beautiful than San Miguel. So when I got to San Miguel, I said, I cannot stay here for 1 month. So I
Wow.
stayed there for 3 months.
Wow.
And I'd been to Thailand when I was working. I'd been to Thailand a couple of times while I was working. And so the pre-COVID, before COVID, my living was 3 months in Mexico, 3 months in Thailand, and 3 months in Cape Town, South Africa. And from that, the other 3 months I used to stop off at home, pick up some more luggage, some more, change out some clothes, see family and friends, get a couple of bowls of gumbo. And
Where are you from? Did I ask?
I'm a New Orleans girl through and
Oh,
through.
wait a minute. I didn't know that. You know, this, for you guys that don't know, we never talked. This is our first time my hearing her voice. We
Yes.
messaged back. That's it. We messaged back and forth. And of course, the people in the group, we absolutely love your tips. I think we're on tip number 15.
I think so.
But
I
we
think so.
but we only get those nuggets on the weekends. That's what she writes. But I so look forward to it. It's like reading a travel novel. And I took a lot of her advice in preparing in terms of the little doorstop security alarm thing. I got it in. Didn't realize they didn't that it didn't ship with a battery. Finally put a battery in, and I mean it works perfect. I've set it off. I'm the only one that I
But
get
no,
I get up
don't
to walk the dog. I forget it's there. I open the door, the alarm just goes off. But you know, so you do want to, those in the group, go through, put press Jada's name up at, do a search for JD, JADY at the top. It'll pull up every post that she has inside the group. And you do want to go and look at the pictures of the photos of where she's been, and then those tips. Those tips will save you time and money and keep you safe. So thank you for that.
and see what I did, why I like doing that, because I want people to understand that this, whether it's my lifestyle, whether the way I do it as a nomadic retiree or as an expat staying in one spot, this is so doable. And I want everybody, I mean everybody, to understand and know that it's not as difficult as it sounds. You're going to have problems, but guess what? You have problems where you are now, right? So
Absolutely.
don't
Every
expect to,
day.
yeah, don't expect to move anywhere and not have problems. Just be prepared to solve them in a different way, because you're in a different country, maybe even a different language. So, but this lifestyle, it just fits me like a glove. It is, I love it. That's all I can say.
Someone wants to know if you've been to Portugal.
Yes, I've been to Portugal. I used to go to Portugal sometimes in the summer down in Faro. There's a place called Moinhos Velhos, and I used to go there to detox, just to cleanse out stuff, pay people a lot of money to starve you, that kind of thing. So yes, I've been to Faro several times, and I recently on my retirement, I've been to Portugal in Lisbon. I love Lisbon. I love the waterfront there in Lisbon.
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends who are moving to Porto.
Okay.
They hired someone, and they're working on getting their immigration paperwork now. I think they have an appointment at the consulate. So yes, I have been to Portugal. It is lovely. There's a lot of people moving to Portugal though.
Yeah. Yeah. What about Ecuador?
I've been to Ecuador, Cuenca, only there. And it was cold. It gets so I eliminated that because of the cold. It gets cold now in Cuenca. And now I don't know if oh, what's her name? I can't think of her name. She's in I can't starts with an M. The name of the city. She's on the water. She's in
Okay.
our group, and she's
I think Terry. I think a girl named Terry is in Ecuador. I'm not
I
sure.
think so, maybe. But anyway, she is on the water there, so she probably doesn't experience the same cold as
Okay.
you do. I'm assuming. I'm just assuming. I don't know much about beaches. I'm not a beach person, but I'm assuming it's not as cold as it was. It was very cold.
Okay.
And I stayed in a very nice hotel, but at night they brought me a hot water bottle to put in the bed. It worked. It worked. It worked.
So they knew you were going to be cold.
I was hot. I had to pull the covers off because they had no heat in the room, and I'm like, oh, maybe Ecuador might not be the place for me because at that time I was looking for a place to retire. I had that expat mindset. It wasn't until I got closer till that year of no responsibility.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what could be more no responsibility? No electric bills, no gas, no car insurance. That's no responsibility. So that's how I adopted this lifestyle that I didn't have to think of all of that. If I need a car, I call Uber.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't need a car here. I mean, Uber is like $4. Sometimes $2 to go.
Yes, yes.
Oh
You can get an Uber in the States for under $7 just to start out, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, for real. In Dallas, that's a start out for them to show up and pick me up at $7 almost. But another question come in that says, where have you not been yet, but you would love to travel and see?
Oh, I want to make it up to Iceland.
Okay.
I want to do a month or two in Latvia,
In
Lithuania,
where?
Latvia, in the Baltic states, northern
Okay.
Europe,
The
Latvia,
Baltic.
Lithuania, and Estonia. I want
Okay.
to go to the Arctic Circle. I want to go to the Arctic. To where else? There's some other countries out there. I can't think of any that, but those are the places that I really want to get to. I want to get to Iceland. I want to get to Greenland. I want to get to Wales. Believe it or not, I've lived over here. I've lived over here for 16 years, and well, 13 years here because 3 in Japan, and I've never made it to Wales.
Okay.
We used to go to London like every other weekend when I first got here. We're going to London. What are we doing? We're going to London this weekend. Because that was when you could get to London round trip. That's when Ryanair first started for like €29.
Wow. Wow. One viewer says, JD, you made me totally rethink my retirement strategy. And she did the same for me because it was like, oh, where do I want to live? Where do I want to live? And it's like, why would I make such a permanent decision in a couple of months? And I'm like, I love the way that you do it. You travel, you stay in a place until you feel like seeing it, what else is out there, until you're ready to go to the next place. And stop putting a time limit, like I'm going to stay here for 3 months. And in 3 months, I'm going to know this is where I want to spend the rest of my life. Why put that pressure on yourself?
Exactly. And that's the message I want to tell the ladies in this group, that you got a lot of time, and unless you need to maybe move out of a house or sell a house, but time is on your side. We're retired. You have nothing but time. And for me, the first thing I do when I land in the country is I find out where not to go, because I'm a wanderer. So I don't want to wander into the wrong part of town, because I'm oblivious to what's going on. And trust me, no matter where you go, no matter how safe they say it is, there is a wrong part of town in every city.
That's right.
Okay. And so once I know that, I look for the things that make me feel like I'm home, because everywhere I go is home. I look for the pharmacy. Where's the nearest grocery? Where is the farmer's market on, and when do you have it? Those are the things I start looking for. And once I figure that out, then I find the library, because some libraries have an English section. Even if I can't check out the books, because usually you can't do it unless you're a residency, I can go sit in there and read magazines or read the books. I'm a reader, so I got to have books. And then I look up meetup.com, and I
What?
look up meetup.com.
Meetup.com.
Meet, MEET, meetup. And so
Okay. Oh,
I
meetup. Yeah.
yeah, I look for like-minded people. So for me, that would be farming, that would be anything musical, that would be what else do I like? Oh, book clubs. So I look up things that are going to be things that I would like to get involved in. Then I look for ways that I volunteer. Ladies, that's the one thing that you can do if you really want to become a part of a community. Look at volunteering. And I do it because I just have the heart of a volunteer. I've always volunteered since I was a little girl when my mother forced us. And when we were teenagers, she strongly encouraged us. And then finally, as an adult, it's my honor and privilege to volunteer wherever I am. So when you become a volunteer, when you start helping in a community and you stop being so me focused and you focus on making goals that are altruistic, that help other people, oh, you make so many friends. I do, I make mattresses for kids who are sleeping in the rural parts of Mexico. And we make mattresses because some of them are sleeping on dirt floors. So I volunteer to do that. I feed the hungry on Tuesdays. When I'm in South Africa, I feed the homeless Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then last year, I volunteered for the first time with Dress for Success, where we taught young women how to create a resume, how to dress. We had a makeup artist come in, teach them how to do makeup. That was so fun. I also, a couple of years, I helped to teach young kids after school how to speak in public. So we had a public speaking club, because Toastmasters has what they call a gavel club. And then I go to a Toastmaster meeting, and every time there's someone saying, well, we go for drinks afterwards, or we go for dinner afterwards. Jay, why don't you come with us? And that leads into, well, meet me for coffee in a couple of days. And so I'm good at making connections and making community wherever I am. If you're not outgoing, those are some of the things that you can do. Find your tribe. Your tribe is going to be on Meetup, because if you like farming, or if you like flower arranging, then go look and see what groups are meeting up to do flower arranging. Part of being a part of this travel lifestyle is not just traveling and touring, because I've seen a lot of the country. I've seen most of the countries. A lot of the countries I'm going to, I've been to, and I don't necessarily do a lot of touring. I'm looking to volunteer.
Oh, wow.
So, next question.
Okay. Let's see. Great trips. Somebody said they hadn't thought of the meetups. Yeah, and that's what Facebook really affords us, is having community all over the world. Because when I decided I was going to come to Puerto Vallarta, there are only like a couple of people in our group, in 60 plus group, that were in Puerto Vallarta. So, but they said, no, go and look up groups in Puerto Vallarta. I'm sure there's brothers and sisters or blacks in Puerto Vallarta. I'm like, duh. And so that's exactly what I did. And I was lucky enough that the first week I was here, which was just a week ago, they had a meet and greet. They had a meetup, and they regularly post in their group, hey, I'm having lunch over here on Friday, or anybody want to go do yoga, or anybody want to go do this, and they'll put it in the group. So you have the freedom to show up and meet other people with the same interests that look like you, that also speak English. And so, yes, you take advantage of that, and you create community that way, and accountability also. Somebody in that country knows you're there and how long you're going to be there, and you connect with people. And I think there were probably maybe 20, maybe more than that showed up, all ages, some still working, some very few retired, but it just turned out really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I don't feel like I'm in Puerto Vallarta alone.
Yeah, the Facebook events is a good section too. That shows you what's going on. It tells you what's happening. And in a lot of places I go, like in Thailand, we have brothers and sisters of Chiang Mai, and we meet every Sunday for Sunday dinner. We call it
Wow.
Sunday dinner. You know how in the South, out
Yeah,
in the South,
yeah,
and in the South, you have dinner on Sunday.
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right. Louisiana
we have
people,
no
and we
choice to go
celebrate
to the
everything with
mall.
food.
You can't go to the mall or do nothing. Sunday is for family, and
That's
so we
right.
call it Sunday dinner, and we have Sunday dinner every Sunday. I don't always get a chance to go because sometimes it coincides with my church. Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
another thing I do is I try to find an English speaking church.
yeah,
So there are so many ways to not just to connect, but to be involved in the community. And for me, that's important to me.
yeah,
It's really
yeah.
important.
Because you want to give back
Yeah,
wherever you are.
yeah,
You want that same. I mean, regardless of your religion, you want to reflect your beliefs where you go. You shouldn't be one person in the States and a totally different person in somewhere else. And I remember one of the things that I would never regret. We ran, my daughter and myself and our husbands at the time, we ran a marathon, the French Riviera Marathon between Cannes and Nice. And we got to walk into, I had been the year before, but this is the first time traveling with one of my children. And we got to walk into Notre Dame. And that church is just
beautiful.
so beautiful. And then a couple of years later, it caught on fire. And I was like, oh my gosh, we were in there. What if we hadn't seen that? What if we hadn't experienced that? And I have pictures of the interior. And of course, that's where the fire was around that main interior. And it's going to take them years to rebuild that because it took 200 years to build Notre Dame.
Yeah,
So
I
you had
haven't been. I haven't been since it burned down. So
I haven't either. I'm not looking. I don't think
broke
I'll
my
go until
heart.
they finish the restoration.
That broke
Yeah,
my heart because that
it,
was
it did. I'm sitting there and it's like and they're like, why are you emotional? I'm like, I was in that church. It took 200 years. And it's just fabulous. But it's like, that's why you don't put off those moments that you will have the rest of your life. You just
yeah,
don't say, well, I'll go tomorrow. Well, maybe next year I'll travel. No, if you have the health and the means to do it, and it doesn't take a whole lot of means, it takes a little planning. And Jay also included her budget in one of the tips because a lot of people ask her, how can she do that? How can she afford to do that? Well, she actually she has a spreadsheet and she has a packing list. I created a packing list, and I try to fill up the tools in the group so that people can come and find that stuff. And so what you'll do at the top of the group, just type in um, tips or type in packing list or type in budget, and that kind of stuff those conversations and posts will come up.
yeah.
So,
And I want to talk a minute too about the budget because
yeah, please do.
we're all on different levels of the budget. This
Mhm.
was I really didn't budget for this trip. I did when I first started out. That first year, I overspent. I really overspent, and I mean, but that was new. It's
Yeah,
different. It's different going on vacation to a country and coming right back home. That's good. But when you have to live there, and I made so many mistakes, and I think I talked about it in one of my posts. I was in Placentia in Belize, and I was flying. I stayed 7 days in one part, then I flew to another island, then I flew after 7 days, and I flew to another one. One of the things that will kill your budget is if you don't stay in one spot.
yes,
And because here's the thing, you can go to an Airbnb or a hotel, and if you go for 7 days, you're going to pay the daily rate. They're not about to give you a discount. But
no,
if you go and say, look, I think I could stay here for a month. Can you help me out on the cost of this? Can you
hmm
because I'm staying for a month. Hotels want butts in beds or heads in beds, whatever you want to call it. They want your body in that bed.
That's
And
right.
if you're saying I'm going to stay here for a month, well, the most you can do at most hotels is 28 days, and then they're willing to work with you. While I was paying nightly fees, like $100 a night or more for every hotel because I was staying 7 days. So I learned quickly. That was a learning curve for me. Stay a month.
Yes.
And if you have to, like, what would have worked better for me was to stay in Placentia, which I preferred, and take a weekend plane over to another island, come back and do that. It would have been cheaper than paying all of those nightly fees. So you learn how to budget. And ladies, let me tell you something. See, people think that this lifestyle is extremely expensive and that you can't afford it. Let me tell you, even with me going over the budget, I usually don't talk about the budget till the end, but I'm gonna tell you now, I'm gonna give you a little present. The first 3 years, I averaged $23,000 a year.
Wow.
You can't live in America. There's not a state in America you can live for $23,000. And that included airfare, and I did Thailand, I did New Zealand. That included airfare. It included insurance, travel insurance, which I had. That included food. It included Ubers, transportation. For the first 3 years, $23,000 a year.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And that first year I spent 34.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, oh no, I got to dial this back. I dialed it back enough that when I averaged, because I was keeping up with my cost, I was documenting everything.
Yeah.
You must document everything until you get a rhythm. And it took me 3 years to get a rhythm. So I was documenting everything. And I averaged those first 3 years together. So that was including a big overage. First year. But 28 countries, 7 years, averaging about $23,000 a year. Because I make more money now, my average is different. When I say I make more money, when I left my job, I resigned. I didn't retire. So I didn't have any income for 5 years. I resigned and postponed my retirement so I could make the top tier of money. If I had gone out at 56, I wouldn't have that much. So I said, that's okay, no problem. So, and I knew this was coming. So what I did was I saved 5 years worth of living expenses. So I had.
Wait, I didn't hear that. You stayed 5 years what?
I saved 5 years worth of
worth of living expenses. Okay.
So because I knew I would have that gap between 62 when I didn't have any money coming in. And so that's what I was traveling on. And after that first year, I was like, because my goal was to travel a year, then buy a house somewhere on a river or a lake because I want to be on water, start my organic fruits and vegetables, get a couple of chickens, you know. I was going to be, what do you call it? What was it? Green Acres. I was going to be my own version of Green Acres. I was going to have my little farm. And every year I said next year. Every year I said next year. And being here in COVID, the first
until you realized you weren't ready for that.
The first few months of COVID, I realized that, well, maybe I might want to settle down. Maybe this is something I can do. I can settle down. Girl, I cannot wait to get out of here. I'm ready. The world just won't open up. I'm ready.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know, I did that when I was raising kids. I had a stockbroker, a certified financial planner. So the way I de-stressed was I had the big house and the big yard, and I had a garden, and I did landscaping. And at one time I grew vegetables, and I made homemade salsa and pickles and bread and butter pickles and all that. So I don't need to do that now. Been there, done that as far as the growing stuff. And I love that. It was very relaxing. But That's not on my list to do. And but a lot of retirees are looking for. A lot of them say, "Well, I
Oh,
want to buy some land and have a little garden and everything," and that's fine. But you don't have to do that immediately because the more anchors you put down, they stop you from being flexible to move, like Jay is moving right now.
oh, that's very true. If I had a house, if I
Yep,
had anything that I owned, it would be impossible, not impossible, but material things stop you from living. If that, I don't know, if that sounds kind of dramatic, but they anchor you, they tie you
they
down.
do. They
And
anchor you
why
because
most
you buy them, but you have to take care of them.
That's why most people say, "Oh, I can't do this life," because you're tied to that material things. But let me tell you, I am too. I love my things. I have furniture and very nice things from that I've gathered around the world, and so but I had the fortune. I was fortunate enough that my sister let me. She had the top of her house. She has a huge house, huge.
Okay.
They don't need all of that. And
Yeah.
so my furniture, when I go home, when I go to her house, it's like going in my house because my bedrooms are upstairs, my living room furniture is in their little theater area. So I have all my things. And when I do finally settle down, I will still have my things, no matter where I am. And right now, I'm the top contenders for my settling down would be Germany, New Zealand, and possibly Canada. And Germany, I can deal with because I know a little bit of the language. New Zealand and Canada, because I am just not wired or have the desire to learn another language. I'm not
Oh, okay.
ready. I'm not ready. I'm not
So
ready.
you haven't learned. You're not fluent in Spanish.
No, 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 no.
I just you see the things you assume about a world travel. I just assume you spoke at least four different languages
No.
fluently. So
I I
you
speak
rely on Google Translate too.
I speak about 40 different languages, but in every country I go to, I learn please, thank you, how much, where is, and there's a fifth one. But there's mainly five phrases that I learn in every country. I learn them before I go. I learn to pronounce them properly. I
Yeah.
believe in if you're going to take on a language, do it properly. But I only do those 5 or 6 phrases that I'm going to need there. Once I go, that's out of my head. I lived here in Germany for 8 years, and I would say I'm at the kindergarten level of German because I've been gone. I've been gone for 10 years from here. So
Wow.
if you don't use it, you will lose it. So I really would prefer to be in uh, an English speaking country, and I love, love, love New Zealand. So when I do settle down, though, Valerie, I am going to get the garden. I am going to have raised beds because I'll be settled. I don't know when that's going to be. I think I got a good maybe 3 more years. I might stop off at 10. I might stop 10 and then settle down. But you never know. Something or someone might make me settle down. You just never
That's
know.
right. You never know. You never know. And somebody said, yeah, houses lock you down. Yeah, material things lock you down. I mean, I love my loft. I always dreamed of because I was back and forth into New York, and I loved living in high rise, Manhattan and stuff like that. And so to be in Dallas and be on the 11th floor overlooking downtown, I just thought, oh wow, this is great. I could so give that up
Mm-hmm.
to travel and just see the world because I have such a curiosity about it. And I have 4 adult children, so I could store a little bit of stuff, just the very important things at their houses, like you do with
Yeah.
your sister.
Yeah.
But I don't need a lot. I'm realizing I really don't. I'm here and I'm thinking about what could I not give up at home to go to the next country, and it's very little.
Ladies,
Very little.
let me tell you this. I have been traveling. The first year, not so much because I was traveling in winter countries.
Okay.
And after that, I said, you know what? I am the author of my life. I can write in the script spring only, spring and fall only. So for the past 5 years, maybe 6 years, I've only experienced spring and summer.
Wow.
So I have I have traveled carry-on only for the majority of the time I've been on the road. Carry-on only. When I get off that plane, I don't have that feeling in the pit of my stomach when that belt stops going around and you don't have your luggage and everybody's walked away and you're the only one standing there.
And look, and right out I got that right out the bat. Right out the bat. Now I've traveled internationally a lot in my career and recently when I was married, but I hadn't traveled internationally in 6 years. And everybody said one bag, one carry-on, whatever. I bought a carry-on, measured the size, and then by the time I took the flight, I had two checked bags that didn't arrive until the third day. See, that was a lesson. That was a lesson because I survived those 3 days with just what I had in my carry-on. I went about 2 more outfits because of course all my clothes were in there, but my toiletries and all that, a lot of them was with me. So you learn. So I didn't let it bend me out of shape or anything. In fact, it just confirmed what everybody had been telling me. You want to be able to get off the plane and leave and not stand there and wonder if your bag is going to catch up with you.
And here's the thing. Now, you know what? When I was younger and I used to travel, I always had a little black. Everybody has to have that little black dress and some pumps that would look nice on a date just in case I could on the road. Yes. I'm like, you know what? Whatever date I get now is just gonna have to see me as they see me because I am not putting anything unnecessary in my luggage. So a little black dress does not fit into my luggage.
Yeah.
And if he's cute enough, I'll go and buy something.
That's it. That's it. You realize, hey, if I need a little black dress, they have stores where I'm going.
Unless I'm in Japan, I'm too big. I can't find them.
Oh yeah. Yes.
There are sizes in Japan. I could find
their large is our like 0 size. You know. Oh my God, that was my first international trip was Japan. To visit, really? To follow my daughter who was in the Air Force and was having jaw surgery. And I was like, not without her mama. And but yeah, this has been great. Let me see if I don't want to miss the questions. Material things stop you. Yeah, wow, spring forward. It's awesome. Document everything until you document everything until you have a system. Absolutely. What you just said, you learn from your overspending the first year, what you didn't need and what you could have done differently. And I've always been a numbers person, and then got lazy and got out of it, but now I need to get back into it. So that's what I'm doing now because I had the opportunity when I got here in this Airbnb, the pictures look great. And I walked in and I was surprised because I'm like, okay, it's neat, it's clean, it's everything, but it's not luxury by any means, but it's comfortable. And I had the opportunity to, and because I got it at the price I wanted, I had some flexibility to move into a nicer place closer to the water. And I almost did it, but I thought, no, I'm comfortable here. It has air conditioning. I fell in love with the river and the neighbors. And like I said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the place. I just wanted a little more fancy stuff, but that would keep me from going to Mazatlan. Because if I had to spend another 6,000 or 7,000 pesos, that's a trip I could have to a neighboring city. So I'm like, you know what? I am fine here. I can go to Mazatlan and get a hotel for a day or two and see another part of Mexico. And so, I'm glad that I don't act on impulse.
No, and when you're talking about budget, for me, I don't worry when I overspend because I know the pockets where I'm going to save. Yep. So, for example, I do have this pension every now and then, every quarter. Put it like this: every quarter, I like to stay in a 5-star hotel, but I can do that. Trust me, we still within the 23,000 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens is, let's say my budget is $1,200 to $1,500 for rent, but I've never gone over that. I've never gone over 1,000 for rent. So I have a house. So my rent average is 1,000. The minute I hit Thailand, I've already made $2,100 I've saved, because guess what? My rent is $300.
Wow.
So that leaves me $700 every month extra money.
2,100.
My budget for food is $600. I barely break 250 in Thailand. So that's leaving me another 350 maybe dollars, or 450. I can't do the math. 350 in money. So already I'm saving. When I go to Thailand, I'm saving. So that means when I move over to South Africa, I can stay in a sweeter spot, because South Africa is a little cheap, much more expensive than Mexico or Thailand. But I already have saved. So it sounds complicated, but once after that first year, I had that rhythm, and I knew I knew where I was going to save money. I knew when I went to Thailand, I knew when I went to Mexico, I was going to save money. I knew when I went to South Africa, I was going to spend more.
Yeah.
And it balances itself out. So I just want to encourage those of you who may not have the budget you think you have, that if I could do 28 countries, do it so that what is that? 23,000 a year is about 2,000, maybe 2,100 a
Yeah.
month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you in South Africa?
Cape Town.
Okay.
Cape Town, and I stay in the Gardens district, which I love, 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 love.
Wow.
Yeah, that's home to me, and it's so
Okay.
sad what they're going through now. So I'm hoping that things get
Yeah.
better, and I can go back there. I'm definitely going to always go back to South Africa. South Africa is my heart, and I'm still actively involved. I'm in 2 Toastmasters clubs there, so we have our little Zoom Toastmasters meeting, and I'll speak sometimes, occasionally. Yeah. So Toastmasters has been a great resource for me. But I've been a member of Toastmasters for 20 years. So.
Yeah.
Any other travel questions before we go?
Let's see. They said somebody said something. Material things top you. Okay, you've been to. Oh, have you been to Burundi?
No, I haven't.
Is that on your list?
It's not on my list. No,
it's not. Rwanda? No. Okay.
Maybe I'll go there now.
Where is your next? You said you thinking about when you do settle down, New Zealand and Germany. Now, neither one of those are. I mean, well, I don't know about New Zealand, but I know Germany's economy is like the U.S. So have you, like, in the past 7 years, been able to accumulate a cushion that would make living in Germany comfortable?
No, I can always live in Germany. Germany is
okay.
I don't have to budget for Germany. I don't have.
You don't have to. Okay.
Feeling now, if I was going to live in New York, then okay. Now New York, let me tell you.
So Germany is doable. Okay.
Germany is very doable. Oh yeah. Oh. I've been here for 17 months now. No, 16 months now, because when I was in Belgium visiting friends, and I had a ticket. The next day, I remember it vividly. It was March 17th was the day I was supposed to catch the plane to fly home, and then I was going to head down to Mexico.
Okay.
No, I was headed up to Canada, and then I was going to go to Mexico. And then the borders started closing, and I had the ticket in my hand, and I was like, the current situation in America, Angela Merkel. Which one do I want? Which one do I want? I chose Angela Merkel because I love Angela Merkel. I think a lot of my German friends don't like her, but many of them do. And I just thought she's great. She's a scientist. She has a scientist.
Yes, smart woman.
It's the best decision I've ever made. Being over here during the pandemic, people follow the rules. Although there was some protests in Berlin about the mask wearing, but that died down and people are wearing their masks.
Yeah.
They don't have fights, and it's just I'm not going to talk about all that, but it's not like
we all know what we're dealing with.
I've been hiding out here waiting for the world to open up, and I'm going to stay here until it does.
That's a nice place to hide out. Someone wants to know if you've been to Beijing.
Beijing. No, I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to what's the other little town? Oh man, it's not coming to me. But I've been to China several times. Since we used to fly when I lived in Japan, we would go over to to Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion of China?
I love China.
Okay.
China. I didn't have any problems back then with them. So no.
Okay.
The food was great. The people was great. Foot massages were fabulous. Hong Kong is to die for.
Oh yeah.
Is to die for. So yeah.
With all the stuff that's going on right now in Hong Kong, would you feel comfortable going back there?
No.
With all the political unrest. And that's why it's really important to always know what's happening in the country, where you are and where you plan on going to.
And I suggest everybody use Smart Traveler. I think I put it on your post. Smart Traveler, which is the app for the State Department.
That's right.
But if I followed the State Department, I would not have been to half of the countries I've been to, because they scare you. They make you think it's awful. So when I do go to that, I'm looking for current unrest. I don't care what else the country is happening. Is there any current political unrest? Is there a war about to start? I want to know these things, because I will willy-nilly just go. I was like last year, I was leaving, where was I? I was leaving South Africa. And I was going to South Africa from Thailand. And I was like,
okay,
let me see what's on the way, because that's how I travel. Let me see what's on the way. What's my layovers? Because I can hit up some new countries. Because my goal is to make it to 100 countries. Yeah. So I have 28 more countries to go before I get 100. And so my goal, so I said, where can I go? So I was flying to Sri Lanka. I had a layover in Oman. I'm like, I've always wanted to go to Oman. So I stayed in Oman, and then I went to Rwanda. So if you look at the countries that are your layover countries, take advantage of that. Take advantage of that.
Yes. You mentioned that. Yeah.
And for somebody like me, I'm collecting countries, so I'm gonna stay. If you got a layover in a place I want to go to, So I want to go back to Chile. Okay. And Patagonia, because I did Patagonia, and it just wasn't enough. I didn't realize how fabulous Patagonia would be, and I want to go there and do some deserts. So there's some countries I want to return to. Yeah. Things get settled, but now, travel is, you got to see what test you need. You got to see, do you have to be vaccinated? You got to see, are they taking Americans? But I have my German recidency card, so I got that. So when you guys so you have to one of your tips, you have to talk about how to get residency in Germany. Oh, that was easy. All you have to do, Germans don't care. All you have to do is prove that you have money and that you have health insurance. Okay. I got both of those, money and health insurance. And if you have that, you will get your residency. Okay. I don't know if it's like that in most places, because this is my first time trying to get residency in a country, but most of them want to know your income. And I know I have that's not going to be a problem for me no matter where I go, unless it's New York, like I said, unless it's New York City, that's going to be a problem. In New York City, I love New York. Let me tell you, if someone said, I'll give you this apartment in New York City, I will stop traveling and move to New York City. What? I love New York. I do too. That's what I do. I could go anywhere, because New York is like every country is there. I mean, there's a little dab of every country in New York, because that's where people come. They think of the U.S. and they either come in, East Coast, West Coast. So New York, love New York, and you get all the authentic food too, because it's taught by the people from that particular country. What I want to say too is about safety. A lot of people are scared to travel because of safety. And I can tell you this from all the countries I've been to, that people are kinder and gentler than you think they are. They really are willing to help you. People are willing to step outside of their comfort zone to show you where to go. I never forget, this was many, many years ago in Paris. I didn't have my French down like I should have, because I was born in New Orleans, so I have a little bit of French. We have the Cajun Creole French. Yes. I couldn't get him to understand what I was saying, but he knew I wanted to get to the metro, and I couldn't understand what he's saying. He's a little old man. He took my hand, walked me across the street, turned the corner, and literally walked me down the stairs to the subway, to the metro. And I've had things like that happen all around the world. So all I can say is safety is an illusion. It is an illusion.
It
Because
really,
there's danger if you stay where you are.
absolutely.
And there's danger if you go where you want to go.
Yeah.
You have to be, for me, now I want to put on you what you have to be, but I have to be a child of God and understand that God is there and he's protecting me. And that for me to stay home because I fear danger, especially as an American, if I feel danger, you probably safer somewhere else than you are where you are right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I remember
to politics, but that's just
no, but it's true. I mean, you know, how big is your God? He only lives in your city and in your country. Come on. I mean, if you go back to the Bible, and I love the Bible. I mean, what did he tell Abraham? Leave the country where you are. Go where I'm not even gonna tell you where to go. Just go. When you get there, I'll tell you your promised land. And Moses picked up and left everything on God, on the faith that God would direct him. And I was like, come on, that was the first nomad. He left everybody, only took his wife and that cousin Lot that he really shouldn't have took. But it so that speaks to solo travel. Don't be trying to carry people.
If you stay in your comfort zone, I really believe this. Life happens outside of your comfort zone.
It certainly does.
That's where it happens. That's where all the juicy, good stuff is, outside of your comfort zone. It's more dangerous to remain in your comfort zone than it is to move outside.
It is, because it changes you. I really think, I mean, and I have FOMO really bad, fear of missing out.
Me too. That's why I'm going from country to country. I'm everywhere. I'm all over the place.
That's it. And you know, and I'm the only one in my family like that. And they're like, oh, Deborah Ann, because you know that's the Louisiana lingo. Deborah and I always flying off somewhere. We don't know where she is. We don't know when she's coming back. And I always let them know where I am. But I was born with that adventurous spirit. I want to see as much as God creation as I possibly can.
Exactly.
And that same God that's with me in the US is with me in Mexico. It'll be with me in Panama and Rwanda and Portugal and everywhere else that I hope to travel.
And so I always say, don't ask God to guide your footsteps if you're not willing to move your feet.
Come on.
Don't say, Lord, order my footsteps, and you standing there.
That's right, but I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna move, Lord. I want you to show me the whole plan before I go. He's not gonna do that. He's gonna show you the next step. Okay, and then a lot of it he's already taught you. And one thing I know you will agree with, but I also want to include is use your intuition. Oprah used to always say that. Every time you got in trouble, you hushed your intuition.
Yep.
So you would instinctively know, I don't think I'm gonna participate in that. Or, no, not today. I'm not gonna do that. But being able to trust strangers and stuff like that, you can feel people's motives a lot of times. And you miss out on some really wonderful experiences when you prejudge a whole culture.
You have to use your intuition, and you have to use that. Ladies, that's one of our strongest muscles.
That's it.
We trump everybody on that. We have that intuition.
Hello.
You know you should not be walking down that dark alley.
Hello.
Middle of the night. That's not even intuition. That's just common sense.
If
something tells you this is something you have to be in tune to when you're traveling, and I think it's more heightened when you are traveling.
Yes.
Intuition. And if you feel it, don't question it.
Don't.
Your intuition. And I'm gonna tell you this story. You got to tell us when we got to go. But I'm gonna tell you this story. I was in the south. I had one of those moments where I'm like, you know what? I'm in Spain, but I'm not feeling it right now. I'm gonna go to Morocco.
Okay.
I'm not gonna fly to Morocco. I've always wanted to. I've been to Morocco several times, but I wanted to catch the ferry.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a bus down south to the little port town where the ferry is. So I go to check in my hotel, and I'm in tune to everything. So I
Yes.
noticed all the keys are in the slot. So I asked the young man, I said, am I the only guest? And I'm joking, thinking he said, yep, the whole place is yours tonight. I said, okay, good. Well, I'm glad you're here. He said, no, I get off at 9. I said, so who's coming on? He said, no, it's yours tonight. He said, you have a key to the front door and the whole hotel is yours. Now listen, okay, add that to the fact that there were 2 young men walking back and forth, and it was one of those winding, like those Greek towns where it's all white, but you got it going down little alleyways. There were 2 guys in 2 hoodies. One was white, one was black. They were walking back and forth in front of the hotel, just back and forth. Because I kept looking out, and I'm like, they're still there. What they doing there? So I said, you know what? I can do this. I got this. I went up to that room, and I sat on my bed. And I said, okay, you can do this. You can do this. Girl, everywhere I looked, I saw Chucky. Chucky
I know you did. I know you did. I'm sitting here going, you can do this. You can get the help.
Chucky was under the bed. Chucky was coming through the window. I hadn't even unpacked. I hadn't even taken my purse off my shoulder. Girl, I grabbed my suitcase. I ran downstairs. I didn't even want my money back. Don't need my money back. I'm like, I told the guy, I said, I can't stay here by myself tonight. So I left the hotel feeling foolish, but guess what? Don't worry about feeling foolish. Follow your intuition.
Always.
I'm a woman traveling solo.
That's it.
And I never stay in hotels that don't have front desk. So I didn't know that this thing didn't have front desk.
Yeah.
I only stay in places that have 24-hour front desk.
That's right.
What is that? And so
Thank you for that.
I ran to a restaurant and I ordered food. Like I had nothing else to do. And while my food was coming, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, nearest hotel. I stayed in the penthouse of a hotel 2 blocks down. I'm like, this was whenever I feel something is traumatic, I go to the 5-star hotel. I'm like, no, it did out. In this little town, they didn't really have 5-star, but they had a little penthouse apartment up there at the top of this really nice hotel. I'm like, that's what I want.
That's it. That's it. You trust those instincts, and the things that make us not trust our instinct is the dollar. Where I done paid my money. I don't want to. What?
Money didn't matter to me. Chucky wasn't going to get over money. Chucky was not going to get me over a few dollars for a hotel. No. And it's a cute little hotel. It crossed off all my things. Quaint. I love quaint little boutique type hotels. Mm-hmm. It was clean. It was unique. It was different. But I'm not going to be up in this hotel by myself. Because you see, I travel in low season. That's another budget. Yes. Traveling in low season. And so the town wasn't full because it was low season. There were tourists there. I mean, there were other tourists like me waiting on the ferry. And actually the next day the ferry wasn't ready because the ferry had been canceled because of weather. And then the day after that, I go over to the ferry. They say they weren't sure what was going to happen. I'm like, you know what? I've been to Morocco before. I'm going to head on back up to Madrid or to Barcelona and hang out. So, yeah. So trust your instincts. If you don't feel safe in a place, same thing happened in Belize. I had a beautiful apartment on the water, right on the water. But at night, and listen to me, guys, travel the world. I'm scared of the dark. I am scared. I'm scary, okay? So at nighttime, I said, well, I looked out. You literally, if you put your hand in front of you, you could not see your hand in front of you. Oh, wow. It was all black. Because I turned off my lights. When I turned off my lights, I'm like, I can't even see my hand. There were no lights. It was a brand new building. Brand new, beautiful apartment. I couldn't see anything. And I said, I didn't sleep that whole night. I'm like, no, I can't do this. So I was going to call the manager and work something out because I didn't want to leave because I had 7 days. It was 7 days of apartment. And I'm sure he would have worked something out, but I was going to call him and say, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And that's me. That's my comfort zone. I can't stay in a place that has no light. When you're on the water, there's no lights on the beach. And there were no lights behind us. And after that morning, when I was about to call him, I heard a taxi close, and I looked down, and people were moving into the apartment downstairs. So I went down. I went down and I met them, and I said, "So how long you guys staying?" They said, "Oh, we're here for a month." Good, I'm here.
There you go. There you go.
Y'all gonna be here as long as somebody can hear me scream.
My grandmother from Louisiana used to always say, "It's better to say there he go than there he lay." Oh yeah, so yeah. I think a little bit of fear is good because it keeps you from making stupid mistakes, just silly mistakes. And I travel with my dog, and it's a service dog. But the dog before him, my first service dog, was also a pit bull, and I trusted Paris with my life because she always saw things blocks away. And she would turn around, and she wasn't a barker, but she would turn around and growl, and I look and I didn't see anything. This is in Dallas, Texas. And I walk a little bit, turn around, and then I would notice a man ducking behind a tree. Every time I turned around, he was 2 city blocks away. But that dog's instinct, and it wasn't just me, it was in the middle of the morning, like 11 o'clock, a lot of people on the street, but she picked out the one who had bad motive. And she wanted to let him know she saw him, and she wanted to let me know he was there. And he, after about me turning around twice and catching him as he left and went another direction. And every time that dog, like I said, I could count on one hand the number of times that dog actually growled at anybody. It was somebody with bad motive. And I had guys that say, does your dog bite? And I say, absolutely, I wouldn't have a dog. I just say, well, I'm sorry, I mean, will he bite me? I said, well, if I feel threatened, he will bite you. And that's the end of that. I never apologize for my dog. That's why I have him. He's going by pure energy. And I think, and I'm very nice about it, not rude, but I wouldn't have a dog that wouldn't bite you if to defend me. To defend me. He's not a vicious dog. And she wasn't, but if she didn't trust you, you didn't get near me, not her. And so I like that because they trust, they're all energy. And so that's an added level of safety for me. Yeah. Well, I don't want to let you leave if there's something burning that we should know to prepare us to step out there. Somebody say, yeah, he has teeth. Yes. He has teeth. He will bite.
What I want to leave you guys with, the fact that this is doable. I don't know anybody's budget, but I know, I can't remember, I think it was Queen who talked about how she made it work on her budget.
That's right.
If you budget right, you can figure it out. And if you don't worry about, if you don't want to try the nomadic thing, don't worry about the cost of the plane tickets. I mean, of course, try to get the cheapest plane ticket, but know that some of the countries you're going to, you will save on the budget, and it will balance itself out. If you're good at balancing money and you know how to do it, it will balance itself out for sure. And there is one thing I want to read to you guys, because I love this. Is one, it was by Rumi, and I saw this, and this is about, it's about life, but it's also about travel. It's about the things that you want. You have to define what it is you want.
Right.
If you're running away from something, it's coming with you.
Absolutely.
Wherever you are, there you are.
There you are.
If you think travel is gonna solve any life's problem that you haven't solved from where you are, you're mistaken. You're running away. If you solve it before you leave, then you're going to. And it sounds strange. But anyway, this is what Rumi said. When I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of distress and anxiety.
Wow.
If I sit in my own place of patience, what I need flows to me and without pain. From this, I understand that what I want also wants me, is looking for me and attracting me. There is a great secret in this for anyone who can grasp it.
Wow.
That's by Rumi. So basically, what Rumi is saying here is, don't run after things.
No.
Sit back. Decide what you want, and the universe will get it to you.
That's so
God, whatever you want to call it.
None
of the way I travel is not extravagant. You don't. Well, now it is for me, but you don't have to. I haven't always traveled like this. You can do it, and no matter what your budget is, I think you can do it.
Oh, somebody said this is their favorite interview.
Yay!
Yay! I know we're kindred spirits. I knew that from the text and everything and the conversations we have, because it's like, it's what, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock there now in Germany? What time is it?
It's 11:15, yeah.
Okay. And a lot of times I'm up when I shouldn't be. And I know who's up.
She'll text me and I'm like, what you doing up at 2:30 in the morning?
I'm like, hey, she's like, I knew you were up. Why don't you sleep? And we have those wonderful chats. But yeah, that's so true, ladies. Because a lot of people, wherever you go, when you get there you are. You and everything. And I mentioned that it took me 6 years before I traveled internationally again at this time. And I ended a 7-year marriage and divorce and everything. And I wanted to make sure I wasn't running away. You know, I did my housekeeping. I had to, clean my clock. I had to get all that bitterness, resentment. What did you take from me? What did I lost materially and all that other kind of stuff? You know what? At the end of the day, what you have left is enough. For a child of God, whatever you have left is enough. Whatever has fallen off, you didn't need to carry. Right. And once I felt healed in my spirit, and they always say, find you a new tribe, because they hold a whole new set of friends and everything like that. The first person in your new tribe better be yourself. Yeah. And I found Deborah first. I like Deborah again. I appreciated Deborah again and started caring for her. And was particular about who I would let in my tribe, And here it is, 6 years later, I have a great group of friends at home, and I'm developing a great group of friends all over the world in community. And one thing I think we have in common in this Facebook group is that these women value themselves and they value community with like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
And so that's why we attract people like Jay and like Queen and like Ariana. And I'm just so happy that you honored us with this time today. And keep those tips coming. I told you I'm be your ghostwriter. I'm collecting them all and make them.
I tell you, what's her name? I can't, because I attributed her. There's two ladies in here who keep telling me I need to write a book. So I'm telling them now I'm writing a book.
Yay!
I don't know when I'm going to finish it, but I'm writing.
That's okay. Good, because I'm like, this is a book. I mean, all your tips are a book, and just
I have like 100 more tips.
I know you do. Yes, I know you do.
Tons of them. So yeah, that's just my practice.
All right, good. Well, good, and it's good enough for us. So we've been here an hour and 20 minutes. We got
gotta go.
Oh no, you gotta go to bed. But We have like 24 people that are still on. So you have kept their attention. They go, this was great. We enjoy both of you. Like they preacher. Thank you, Deborah, for the invite. Ladies, this is so good. Congratulations on your future. Gospel says a man just makes room for him. They say you are amazing. Yes, she is. Okay, so thank you so much. And I'm going to, it'll be replayed for those of you who came late. This will be replayed and it's also broadcasting on YouTube. And so both on Passportability, so both you can go back and forth to see it. But thank you so much, Jay, for honoring us. And I know we'll meet somewhere down this journey that we're taking.
Oh, well, if you're in Mexico, because all of you guys, especially Deborah, she makes it seem like PV is the place to be. So I know when I
Isn't she?
come,
Yes, yes.
I'm coming to PV, but I got the problem is when I get to San Miguel, I never want to leave. And I want to
Yeah.
go to other towns. The only reason I go to Querétaro is because it's like a town over and I can come back the next day. It's hard for me to leave San Miguel. So I
Wow.
decided the only way I'm going to be able to get to Mexico City and Puerto Vallarta is to go there first and then go to San Miguel.
Then, yes, yes. That's why I came
Yeah,
here first.
San
Then I'm
Miguel.
going to San Miguel, Mazatlan, Mexico City, because I do like big cities,
Yeah.
and some other places.
San Miguel has a vibrant artist community. It is an artist haven. This is where all the artists go, and they claim it's such a creative vibe because it's built on quartz or something all
Mhm.
boo like that. But anyway,
Yeah.
there's something does hold you to the ground there. Something does keep you there when you go there.
Yeah.
And so I love San Miguel, but I'm gonna have to go to Puerto Vallarta. It's
Yeah.
been lovely, ladies. I love giving tips, and I love reading your tips. So you guys post too, and I like reading what you write. And unfortunately, I only do social media on Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes I'll do a Friday, but for the most part, Saturday and Sunday, and I stick with that. I've stuck with that for a few years, for a while now. Yeah, because I didn't want it to take over my life. So I will see you in
Yeah.
the feed on
Yeah.
the weekend.
That's right. That's right. Late nights.
All right. No post this weekend because we did
No, no, no.
yesterday. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right,
Bye.
I'm trying to sign out of this, but I
All
forgot
righty.
to go away.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
And thank you guys for staying with us so long. And I really do appreciate all the contributors to the group. You know, all I ask is like, just give me a heads up. Let me know you're going to post a link or something like that, because I do want to promote from within the group. The only thing I ask is run it by me, because I don't want the group to become spammy. But other than that, run it by me. If it's something that's going to value the group, hey, I'm all for it. And so I do pay attention to those regular contributors like Patricia and Tally. Deborah is a contributor with a lot of information, and that's who I pick those people to have on and to interview, because they're not shy. They have a voice and they have a wealth of talent that they're willing to share with us, and I really appreciate that. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye.